Superman sucks. Literally, the most boring character ever. Like, a hero saving a cat? Boring. We see that millions of times. Can we just move on? Like the act is getting so old. We are done with Superman. Is what a Superman hater would say. This has been an ongoing debate for such a long time. Many people believe the Man of Steel to be boring. I often hear he's too powerful to be interesting. And their favorite character would be like Dr. Manhattan, Flash, Thor. He's not interesting or relatable enough. I kind of find it very sad that Superman today doesn't get the respect he deserves. Superman is not only the most iconic superhero, but arguably the most important superhero in the superhero genre. The Superman movie paved the way for many superhero movies to come. Kevin Feige had stated that Superman, the movie, is a huge inspiration for the MCU. Probably not anymore though. Superman inspired many different characters we have today. Right now, I'm just talking about cultural impact in society. Superman is a cultural phenomenon, but as a character, he's someone we need now more than ever. Now, before I continue on, I want to keep this in mind. It's okay if Superman isn't your favorite character. It's okay if Superman's not that important to you and that you prefer other characters. But I think if you don't like Superman, you should at least acknowledge the importance of the character and its impact in the superhero genre. And if you're going to say that Superman is boring, let's not use arguments that are just misconceptions or misleds of the character itself. Now back to what I was saying. Superman is a character we need now more than ever. The world we live in is becoming more cynical, and we feel like there's nothing to look forward to. We, as a society, are losing more hope in humanity. But Superman believes that dreams save us. Dreams lift us up and transform us. And on my soul, I swear until my dream of a world where dignity, honor, and justice becomes the reality we all share, I'll never stop fighting. Ever. That's what Superman is. That is Superman to his core. How can Superman help in our current society? In a world that's becoming a lot darker, a lot bleaker, only little glimpses of that light. How can Superman help? I don't know about you, but a superhero with so much power that instead of just using it for self-interest and self-gain, he uses it to do good. And I find that to make him so interesting. An alien born on the planet Earth, raised by two loving parents that made him into the man he is today. Throughout his childhood, there was many moments where he felt alone, different. He couldn't connect with humanity. But through helping people, being a force of good, he's able to connect to humanity. He feels he is as human as anybody else. Superman is literally the chill best friend that you would want. I feel like anyone could relate to that. A person who feels they cannot connect with anyone because of how different they are. I think we always have those moments of vulnerability. And there's people out there that remind us of how different we are. Like Lex Luthor, the arch rival of Superman, who believes that a man with so much power couldn't ever relate to us. Couldn't ever use his power for the sake of good. Power always corrupts, blah, blah, blah. So, Lex always tries to find ways to put him under his feet. He always tries to remind society that Superman could never be like us because he's just an alien. But like I said earlier, Superman is as human as any one of us. And because of that, he has flaws. He has made mistakes. He has failed time and time again. One of the moments that comes to mind is when in For All the Seasons, Superman is working with his arch rival Lex Luthor stopping this disease. Lex, of course, had some evil scheme behind this. He had a chemist work with Superman to deal with this toxin, and he also molded her to be a hero of her own. She was actually a huge Superman fan after Superman saved her from a fire, and she wanted to be like him. The chemist worked with Superman to clear the atmosphere of this disease. After they succeeded, they return to LexCorp, and the chemist dies in Superman's arms because of the overexposure of the toxins. Of course, the point of all of this is Lex pushes Superman to his lowest point, and he reminds him that he's just an alien. He would never belong. He's stating with all that power, you will always be alone, and that you couldn't even understand the true condition of what it is to be human. Superman goes back to Smallville, and he's questioning himself as a hero. The whole weight of the world he was carrying, he feels it was too much to bear. That one failure as a hero made him rethink, can he ever be the hero the people need? Can he ever be Superman? I think we can all relate to Superman and how often we carry a load on our shoulders to bear through what's coming at us. We have those moments where we question our entire calling and we refuse to jump back because of one tragic moment or one defining moment that makes us change course in our life. But Superman reminds us that we can get back up again. In our darkest moments, we stand tall and we fight to see another day. Superman not only is shown to be relatable, to be human, but he inspires the people around him. I think we get too focused on the super in the Superman that we often ignore the man. We forget at the end of the day, he's still Clark. I finally realized while I was away how special it made me feel. Because to understand that man in the cape who could fly, all I needed to know was Clark. To understand Superman is to understand the man, Clark Kent. For me, the best type of Superman stories are the one that focus on what makes Superman human. How does he inspire others? How does he help in our current world? The idea that Superman represents hope. All these ideas and concepts are what I look forward to in a Superman story. I think sometimes writers get too carried away trying to turn Superman into something he's not, to try to flip the script and make him something new. But I think writers need to realize that Superman is the deconstruction. The story Kingdom Come comes to mind. It's a future where the word hero has lost its meaning. Humanity has started to lose trust in the heroes of the new generations. Superman comes out of retirement to try to once again establish peace. But throughout the story, Superman starts to lose hope in himself and humanity. When Shazam sacrifices himself and many heroes die, Superman snaps back and decides to use his power as payback. But Superman is reminded of who he is, that his humanity is what defines him. To quote, "Yes, you're angry, but in that anger, you're forgetting once more what humans feel, what they fear. They won't forgive you for this, Clark. Forgive yourself. Who are? Why are you here? To bear witness. Listen to me, Clark. Of all the things you can do, all your powers, the greatest has always been your instinctive knowledge of right and wrong. It was a gift of your own humanity. You never had to question your choices. In any situation, any crisis, you knew what to do. But the minute you made the super more important than the man, the day you decided to turn your back on mankind, that completely cost your instinct. That took your judgment away. Take it back. If you want redemption, Clark, it lies in the very next decision you make. Make it as a man and make it right." I think it's also worth noting to point out that Superman isn't supposed to be viewed as a god. In Kingdom Come, he realizes that image of Savior was taken too far. Stated by Superman, "Now we put things right. Years ago, I let those I swore to protect drive me away. We all did. And that was the day all of this began. We saw you as gods, as we saw ourselves, and we were both wrong. But I no longer care about the mistakes of yesterday. I care about coping with tomorrow together. The problems we face still exist. We're not going to solve them for you. We're going to solve them with you. Not by ruling above you, but by living among you. We will no longer impose our power on humanity. we will earn your trust, using the wisdom one man left as his legacy. I asked him to choose between humans and superhumans, but he alone knew that was a false division and made the only choice that ever truly mattered. He chose life, in the hope that your world and our world could be one world once again. Kingdom Come breaks down everything about Superman's philosophy. It's not the superpowers that make Superman. It's his humanity, his strive for compassion, his understanding and love for humanity that makes him Superman. The best way to show Superman is as a beacon of hope, showing himself as a good example of being a force of good in a cynical world. Right now, there has been some sort of renaissance of Superman content as of late. Superman comics right now are on a streak with passionate writers that are putting so much care and love for the character. Writers like Philip Kennedy Johnson, who understands Superman to his core, and he is able to show that through his works. Whenever I write an established character like Superman, I always think back to the theme, champion of the oppressed. I see it on the screen when I'm watching the old Christopher Reeve films. I see it on the page in Grant Morrison's All-Star Superman. Key moments of Kingdom Come and other moments from my favorite comic books throughout history. It's that he is a supremely powerful person who uses that power exclusively to help others. It's ultimate power wielded with ultimate compassion, humility, and selflessness. The reason the powers are there are to show how incorruptible he is. We need more writers that can embark on Superman's character as a champion of the oppressed, the one to inspire others, the one to be that beacon of hope. I hope with James Gunn's new Superman movie that he could successfully tell a story of who Superman is and why he does what he does. How can he help in our current society? I think back to this quote from Mark Waid that talks about Superman as a character and a cultural phenomenon that I think nicely wraps up this video. The idea that Superman is boring, overpowered, antiquated, unrelatable, or somehow irrelevant compared to other superheroes has always been an intellectually lazy one. If we analyze Superman, actually dissect his origin, his history, his rogues gallery, his character, his power set, and his supporting cast, it becomes clear that not only his stories can be incredibly compelling, but also that his mythology is incredibly rich and vast. He's the one superhero that every person, I don't care who you are, wishes they could be. He's morally incorruptible, he never gets sick, he's got the ability to help others at every opportunity. And then there's his ability to fly, his super strength, and all those cool vision powers. It's absolutely fine to not appreciate or understand Superman's appeal on a broad emotional level. He may not be a favorite of all, and may sometimes seem out of fashion, but every person has to at least recognize that Superman is important to world culture and can be compelling. Any other argument is